I think one of the things that I want to do when we talk about the next generation is get into some of the specifics that they're going to have to grapple with, because that might help us brainstorm some ideas here. And why don't we talk about manufacturing and data analytics, which again, when you're in college may not sound like the most sexy option, but there's also a lot of innovation happening. There is momentum and change, and the idea of they can get in at the ground floor and actually build it. Why don't we get into a little bit about what is going on in life sciences when it comes to manufacturing and analytics?
Sure. So today, when it comes to the manufacturing space, it's no longer following an SOP, following a process, and moving pieces around, valves and other things, right? It's all about there's a significant amount of automation that's built into these plants now. When it comes to the cell and gene space, we are trying to go ahead and automate more and more and more into it because of the sensitivity of that entire growth cycle of a cell and gene therapy. So in this type of space, we are really trying to understand, and that we talk about talent or bringing in expertise. So there's a lot of automation built in, either via manufacturing automation system, GE automation systems. So it's no longer trying to be able to go ahead and have your hands work. It's more or less your fingers working to be able to adjust the environment that they're going to be working in manufacturing and in QC.
And I can also see one of the things that might inspire the next generation to get interested in the life sciences is there's something really exciting and new happening in medicine.
Yeah.
And they are in a position to be the people who make that difference and change people's lives. And I think that connecting those dots along with the technical challenges of it and the idea of actually innovating the next thing could be very exciting.
Absolutely, absolutely, because there's a big difference between having 1 million tablets formed, right, or 1 million vials filled, versus you knowing that you are making a product for an individual. So there is a significant amount of fulfillment that you have, right? And that is going to an individual. So here, the purpose is really real, because there is on the other side of this specific batch, you have a person, an individual, right? One day that could be your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, right? It's somebody that is there. So absolutely, I fully agree with you, because there is such deep-rooted purpose in this new space of advanced therapeutics, because it's no longer you get to feel it. When I worked in the industry, prior to joining Compliance Architects, my biggest happiness in coming to work every day was the purpose. I knew every day there was a patient waiting on the other end, right? And my organizations, quality and QC, they knew that what they did meant a lot, because somebody's waiting on the other end. But that also puts significant amount of pressure into an organization, personal pressure, right? Because now you know that you are holding in your hands somebody's life. So we had to also overcome, honestly, from a psychological point of view of our associates, as well as our operators, QC people, that how do we allow them to do their best at work? Mistakes do happen, right? So mistake-proofing that environment, helping them to relieve some of that stress by bringing some automation into it, bringing in MES or labial LIMS into place to reduce that stress that they have of knowing that they are assaying or they are manufacturing a product for an individual. And this was a very big learning that I had coming from biologics, because there we were dealing with fermenters. If something bad happened, we restarted. Here, you got no choice. There is no restart, right? So it has to be right. And then how do you deal with it when something does go wrong? Because then everybody in that operational unit knows that patient is no longer going to get that product. So emotionally, physically, mentally, and physically, that's a hard place to be. Right?
Yeah.
That's a very hard place to be.
I think it's also a really interesting time for the idea of bringing automation into ATMP manufacturing, the
Absolutely.
idea of the people who are going through all of the steps in their career to bring them to this time and place didn't do it to walk around with a clipboard and take manual readings and put it into Excel and then stare at the numbers. A machine can do all of that faster, and it frees them to do the troubleshooting and the innovating and the getting better all the time.
Yes.
Part of the job.
Yeah, absolutely. And innovation and continuous process improvement, right? Continuous process improvement mindset is absolute must in this new generation of manufacturing operations, right? Because you can't be happy with what we are doing, what is there today, right? So you really want to make a difference in this space as companies, as individuals. You have to always be in that space of uncertainty and knowledge seeking, right? Because that'll allow you to innovate. That'll allow you to go ahead and have that question with your supervisors or with your leadership or with your management team and say, listen, what can we do different? What can we do better to make the life of our people, our manufacturing operations, as well as what can we do to make the life of the patients better, right? Deliver the medicines faster.